This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
All right, it's time for group chat. It's time to chop it up with the Arizona's Family sports team. Nick is off playing golf. Julia's cooking dinner. Elliot, I think, has a big tennis match somewhere. But we have so many bright minds here at Arizona's Family when it comes to talking sports. So our sports producer, Matt Hippe, resident Packer fan. Do you want to break down the schedule today? What do we want to do?
Oh, I'd have to look at it first.
Okay.
I know they're here in October.
Right. Are you taking that day? Are you going? Should we get your credential?
I'm considering it.
Okay. All right.
Depends if we have a post-game show.
That's right. Okay. Let's put in for no post-game show that day so Matt Hippe can go watch his Packers play.
Fully agree.
Right. We have Joe Farris, Giant Joe behind the glass. You might know him as Sun Devil Joe as well. Joe, Devers to San Francisco. Yes?
Let's go.
They got their thumper. All right. And then our baseball expert. We had to go through the newsroom. We were like, who can give us some red hot sports takes today? And his name's Jason Berry, and he's always coming over and talking baseball with us. It's a good time to talk baseball. Jason, how do you feel about the NL West now that the Giants have gone all in?
You know, it's going to be competitive. It's going to come right down to the wire, and hopefully the D-backs are in the middle of the mix. It's kind of hard to tell with the Diamondbacks. I mean, it's been the most wild, maddening, bizarre, crazy time to be a Diamondbacks fan. I mean, just this season, the number of crazy, ridiculous wins and crazy, heartbreaking, excruciating losses, and we're not even in July yet.
And the pitchers keep going down.
Yes.
It's just like this team, though, to lose your ace, your two best bullpen guys, and then win 5 of 6. Like, what makes sense about
and
this?
your closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little nuts. I think the next week, this road trip will really be telling because they need to do well. They need to stack wins against the bad teams, against the White Sox and the Rockies. And if you can't stack wins now, you got a problem.
Right. You got Blue Jays, White Sox, Rockies. And okay, so we'll get to the deadline here, late July. Look into your crystal ball here. And Joe, as Giant Joe, Sun Devil Joe over there. Are we talking about buyers, sellers? Are we talking about the red hot Gino Suarez going somewhere else? Are we talking about Zach Gallen going somewhere else? Are we talking about, pick your player with an expiring contract? Yeah. I mean, there's no way to tell, and based on what they've done, I mean, there's no evidence one way or another. But what's your feeling here?
You know, it changes week to week with this team. Right. It's really crazy. I mean, I think everybody in the organization, they want to be buyers. Hazen wants to be a buyer. You know, Lavello, the team is built to be buyers. Unless things really go south, I still believe they'll be buyers. They certainly need some bullpen help.
Right. Well, and you think about what you could do for the long haul if you traded a Naylor, a Suarez, and a Gallen. You could restock the team for years, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, really, every team in the league is watching the Diamondbacks because they could single-handedly change the trade deadline. I mean, because of the big names. I mean, you've got 2 frontline starters in Gallen and Kelly who could be available.
Right. You've got makes me sad.
You've got a big bopper in Josh Naylor at first base. You've got Suarez at third base. I mean, Shelby Miller is another guy that they could get something for. So they've got 5, 6 big guys who would help a lot of contending teams if they did trade. But nobody wants to see that happen. This team is built to compete, and hopefully they will.
But Joe, don't you think like that's enough talent to scare you Giants fans out there?
Not really. I mean, it's just the bullpen and the pitching is just so bad. And that's when wins and loses you games. And they played well this last week for sure, kind of out of nowhere after getting swept. Then they swept, who'd they sweep? The Mariners, who weren't playing great. But the D-backs look good doing it. But like Jason said, like you just can never tell which team is going to show up. And this is a big moment for them against the bad teams. And here they are, still in 4th place in the West, still 5-something games out of the wild card. So I think there's sellable pieces, and like it won't take long for them to get back into it next year with keeping Marte, Perdomo, Gabby, and Corbin and Alec. You just got to find pitching.
It's just, but if you looked, I mean, did you see the crowds over the weekend? I mean, all those people there for Father's Day. This town wants this, right?
Yes.
They want it so bad.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just been so hard in this town. Whenever a team has expectations, it's heartbreaking. You just
Yes.
want one of our teams to live up to the expectations. It's difficult. And this is a team. Everybody was hyped on this team. It's like, all right, they're going to win 88, 90 games, and who knows what they're going to do.
They still seem like just such a good 500 team.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the problem is, I watch every game, and there's only a couple of guys in the bullpen that you trust, and there's a bunch of guys that it's like, no, don't bring him in. No, this week when Gallen was pitching and he was up 3-1 and he left with a couple of guys on base, and in trots Ryan Thompson, and I'm like, no, he's not the guy. He is not the guy. For some reason, Torrey really trusts him still, and sure enough, gives up a hit to Tatis, gives up a big hit to Machado, and boom, and then thankfully he got off the hook because.
But you got to keep Thompson, because he's done it.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to pitch in the most important spot in the ball game.
Right.
He's not.
But is he filling a role for now? So if they can make a run, he can kind of slide back into his spot, and then you can add a piece or two to the bullpen.
I guess, yeah, but I don't want to see him in the critical situations. 2 years ago, when there were a couple of guys on base, you bring him in, you get the ground ball, and you get the double play. He did that. He was fantastic. He doesn't do that anymore. He just doesn't. I don't rely on him. Kevin Ginkel isn't the same pitcher. He's got issues. I just don't trust those guys. I trust a couple. I trust Shelby Miller. Beeks has been very good. I'm still waiting on Backus. He's got the funky left-handed sidearm delivery thing, but I don't know who else I kind of trust back there.
Is it as simple as this? Eduardo Rodriguez does what they're paying him to do, and that just puts everybody in the right spot in the rotation and in the bullpen.
Yes, and the other key guy is Gallen. I mean, Gallen has to be Gallen. I mean, Gallen's got a 5+ ERA. You're not going to the playoffs with Burns on the disabled list and Gallen having a 5 ERA. It's not happening. I mean, yes, you need Gallen to be Gallen, and you need Eduardo Rodriguez to be decent. I mean, if and we saw during the week, if you get some good starting pitching, it makes all the difference in the world. If you get, in a good spot, and then you can kind of line up a few guys in the bullpen to, pitch an inning here, pitch an inning there. But, you need your starting pitching to get into the 6th or 7th, and it changes everything.
All right, around the horn here. Jason, buy or sell?
Buyer.
Mad?
I feel like they want to buy, so that's where they want to be, and that's what they're going to do.
Joe?
I'm going to quote a guy, a commenter I saw on Reddit, and I wish I had his name, but he said it was on the D-backs subreddit when the news of Devers, and it says, what's the point of buying if you've got 3 teams above you that are willing and able to just outspend you? So I'm selling.
I just think that sends the wrong message to this nucleus.
I don't see them waving a white flag like that.
Yeah, and you're right. The message it would send to the fan base would not be good. And I heard Hazen talk. He did an interview on MLB radio, and he was talking about, look, selling and trading those players and having an empty ballpark in August and September when the games don't mean anything. Who wants that?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to Toronto this week. You go to Colorado over the weekend. White Sox, then you're home for the Marlins. Is it fair to say they should go 15-0 here?
That's what Jason wants.
Yeah, that's what I want. But look, I mean, you got to win at least 11 games out of those, 11 out of 15. You got to start moving ahead of 500. I mean, if you want to stay with the Dodgers and Giants and Padres have come back to the pack a little bit. They've been struggling a little bit.
And looking strong, winning those, not like trailing by 5 or 6 runs, and then you get a fluke in the 8th or 9th inning to come back on it. Like you want to look strong winning those.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of games this week that were a little out of the ordinary for them that they just kind of won without the drama. Right.
Well,
You know.
and then they go Giants in July, KC, San Diego, the Angels. I mean, put it this way. If they are not in position around the trade deadline if they're not within striking distance, they don't deserve it because the schedule it's not like murderer's row here.
Yeah, no, it's not ridiculous. I mean, you just, you got to be kind of where they're at now. I mean, they're not crazy behind. I mean, you got to be over 500, but they got to start stacking some wins. They got to start, creating a little bit of distance, get 5 games over 500, 10 games over 500, because, the Dodgers are going to start separating a little bit.
Yeah, they'll win the division.
Yes.
Okay, so Matt, each night as you mold and shape the extra point on Arizona's family, excitement level. What's more exciting to talk about, the Diamondbacks at the trade deadline or the Suns at the deadline to get rid of Kevin Durant? And where would you put that deadline? Is it in the coming days here?
I think it'll be before the draft at the end of the month. So I think if it's going to happen, most likely it'll be in the next 2 weeks. I mean, it could still happen later than that, but I think the Suns want to get something in the draft here, so that'll probably be when it happens. As far as where he goes and what he gets, that's anybody's guess. Depending whoever you want to listen to. There's
who do you think? Where do you think he's going to go? What makes the most sense?
I think the Rockets are in the best position to give the Suns what they want for him, and possibly even more assets that the Suns could flip later on. I mean, if they ended up getting Jalen Green out of it, I mean, that's a third Beal Booker, so you could turn him around and get even more picks for him if he was part of that deal. And he's one of the teams that Durant has said he'd be happy to go to and extend with, which I think the Suns have to consider because you're going to get a better deal from one of those teams because like the Raptors, I don't think they want to come in and get a rental for him, so they're not going to give up as much, most likely. Who knows?
One question. Do you think Suns fans should be prepared to be disappointed by the return they get for Kevin Durant?
I think this Desmond Bane trade may have set some unrealistic expectations for fans. I mean, if you look at Durant compared to Bane, I'm like, well, yeah, we should get 8 first-round picks and 3 serviceable players. Yeah, if that's your expectation, I think you'll be disappointed by it. I don't know. I'm so curious what the market is for Kevin Durant now. It's not the same as it was, obviously, when the Suns traded for him, but he's still the best scorer on a lot of teams in the league right now.
Would you take him on the Bucks right now if they could figure out a way to do that?
As a player, obviously, yes, I would always take him. But for their salary cap situation and the apron taking that, no, not a chance. Not for the money that he requires. But as a player, yeah, absolutely. He's so much fun to watch. He's still got... He doesn't have the same spark that he had, 10 years ago, but he's still got that vibe to him. He brings that threat on offense that any team would want to have.
My big concern is, does he make the other players better? And that's the big question. I mean,
it didn't happen here.
It did not happen here. He did not make everybody else better, and it didn't necessarily happen when he was with the Nets.
Yeah.
So,
which is why I think the Rockets also make sense for him because they have enough talent on that team and that roster. He would fit in nicely. And I think the players are good enough that they don't need him to make them better. And I don't think he would make them any worse. I don't think he would take away all that much, depending what they give up.
No, that's fair. I definitely think I've thought that the Rockets and San Antonio seem like good landing spots. Still kind of intrigued by if they sent Durant to Minnesota, what they would send back. I know.
Yeah. I mean, I think Julius Randle would almost certainly have to be part of that, which I don't think the Suns would want. I don't think that'd be good for the Suns. I don't think fans would be happy with that.
They want to play the 2 bigs. But Brian Gregory said it's coming back.
Yeah. I mean,
he does play defense.
Possibly.
He does play defense.
Yeah. He's all right. And he'll go off for like 30 points, every few games or so. I really think Miami seems like the kind of team that will make the move to get him. They're a team that just always seems to have a superstar, and they're always willing to go and do something to get them. And with Jimmy Butler gone, they don't have that star talent anymore. And I think Spoelstra is a good enough coach where, again, you don't need Kevin Durant to be the one to make the players better, that I think he would use them effectively where the rest of the team wouldn't suffer. So Miami, I think, would be a
I knew
would
it.
make a lot of sense.
He was wearing
too.
that Marlins hat. He was wearing that Marlins hat in the Olympics. I don't know if y'all remember in the extra point. I was like, why is he wearing a Marlins hat? It
Who
made me
doesn't love
worry.
the Marlins colors? Black and teal looks great.
Yeah, but now it's like orange. Do they still have teal?
That's true. They put
there's
orange.
They've
teal
got
there.
they got rid of all that. The Clevelander, the dance club in the outfield. Still nobody goes. Joe, are you going to I guess look back on if Kevin Durant could have rejoined the Warriors, would that have been a better deal than Jimmy Butler? Would you rather have Kevin Durant right now than Jimmy Butler based on what happened in this year's playoffs?
No, I want Butler. He fits way better with our team. He does all the little things that Durant frankly doesn't do anymore.
Defense.
And play defense, look for other players, not settle for a jump shot. But I love Durant. I'm never going to stop loving Durant. I do think this Bane trade, you got to look at the other way, like not what you can get for Durant, but what you can bring for Booker. And that's kind of comparable, and you can get above and beyond what Memphis got for Bane, what Phoenix can get for Booker.
Well, it just seems like too, like the going rate for the missing piece that people know you need to have, you're going to have to overpay.
Yeah.
So 4 first rounders.
Yeah, it's interesting with Booker is, I love him. He grew up here.
Would you trade him? Jason Berry.
Ja-
The Knicks are on the phone.
You know what? I know people aren't going to want to hear it, but I would trade him. This team needs to rebuild. I don't know that a Booker making $70 million in Phoenix is really going to be helpful. I know you like to keep the face of the franchise. I mean, look, I was all about keeping Paul Goldschmidt for the Diamondbacks, and Larry Fitzgerald staying with the Cardinals was great. You need that face of the franchise, but the Suns are in such disarray. They really need to reset. I mean, I don't think they'll do it. I don't think the owner would do it. But I think it would make sense.
It's interesting that seems to reflect like the sentiment of Suns fans as a whole, where even just a year ago, the thought of trading Booker would have been unimaginable for most Suns fans. And now after this last season, there's a lot they're like, I don't like it, but I can see it. Especially when you look at the future of the Suns right now, there's not a whole lot to look forward to. And if trading Booker gives you that, I can say it's just interesting how that's changed and the position that they're in.
So are you watching Bradley Beal play with a bunch of young guys?
So this is interesting. You guys answer this question for me, because I keep hearing it on sports radio, and you hear it all the time about the Suns don't want Beal back. They don't want him to back at all. And he is still a serviceable player. He's still a likable player. It's not like he's a cancer on the court. I mean, yes, he may or may not play each night because he gets a lot of injuries, but I mean, look,
that's from playing hard, though. I mean, he plays hard. He just runs into people.
I mean, the thing is, they're going to be in a situation because of their salary cap that, you're going to have to get a lot of minimum salary guys. So, why are you going to have your guy who you're paying $50 million just stay away and not play because you don't like him? I mean, he can still come and score 15 points a game. I mean, you still need bodies, and why not?
It's that he's not. That 15 points isn't reliable. You don't know when it is. And then, the restrictions that come with his salary, the second apron restrictions are so intense. And the Suns are now getting into repeater years where it's just going to get tougher and tougher for them to do anything. Yeah, Beal as a player and Beal as a person is not someone that you would necessarily want to get rid of. He's a good player when he's available, and he's a great person by all accounts, as far as I could tell. But
what do you do with the salary? I mean, what do you do with it?
That's the thing, and not a team wants to take it either,
right?
And it has to be a team that he wants to go to, which narrows the pool even more.
Yeah.
Which is they're in almost an impossible spot.
Joe, is Bradley Beal on the Phoenix Suns roster come opening night, and does he play any minutes?
I kind of think he is, just because they need him. They're gonna need him, and like Jason said, just to leave him at home because he didn't want to waive a no trade clause that was worked into his contract. That's kind of messed up.
That they accepted.
They accepted when they traded for him.
This idea of like trying to force him into allowing a trade just sounds like such a bad idea for the Suns ownership and management to treat any player like that. I don't think would be the right way to go, and I don't think they will.
Well, if you're
I don't
paying me
think
$50 million, man, I'll go mop the floors.
Right?
Like, I'll go.
But he likes it here. Apparently,
Yeah.
everything I've read,
Yeah.
his family likes it
Yeah.
here. His kids like it here. I like to stay.
Yeah. You want me to not play, and you're going to pay me $50 million.
and I can
do that.
You can never blame a guy for exercising
Right.
that right in his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it.
Right.
It's
There's
sucks,
so much. Just what just happened in the last year.
it's it's just
yeah.
crazy. Jason mentioned the expectations of teams and where it go, and it's just, man, they needed it to pay off with this big three, and it fizzled in such a major way.
How many of the big three are on the roster on opening night?
I think Booker and Beal.
Yeah, then that probably they don't have any other options. I think Booker and Beal, and we'll see what they can get for Durant.
Because any deal for Beal, any team knows the Suns have no leverage. They're going to be desperate to move off of him, and I think any trade would be a negative for the Suns. So you may as well, take advantage of what kind of player he is and person he is, and use it as best you can.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, I think the same. Booker and Beal, ride Beal out one more year, and then you can figure out your options with waiving and afford it to waive him or stretch and waive, whatever it is. It feels like one more year with Beal is destined to happen.
Who had the good?
No, I was going to say one more year, and then people will take his contract,
Right?
Because it'll be an
I mean, it'll be
expiring
just one,
$50 million contract that
Yeah.
you can trade him and get back other people's junk, and you can trade them your junky.
Speaking
contract.
of other people's junk, I mean, like, who had the scenario like Russell Westbrook ends up here, Rudy Gobert ends up here, like we're talking about
Chris
like
Paul
if,
again.
yeah, like if my son made a bunch of trades on 2K and you're like, what?
I mean,
What is
Westbrook's going to be a free agent. He was going to make $3.5 million with the Nuggets this year. I mean, he'd have to sign for a vet minimum with the Suns, but I think he's wanted to be in Phoenix, and I could absolutely see him on the Suns roster as well on opening day.
Sure, why not?
Doesn't
I'm
sound
game.
crazy to me.
Because he uses like the restrooms with the people while he's warming up, and then didn't he go into the suites at one point?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for
He's had
Russell
some
Westbrook.
he's had some interactions with Suns fans.
Because the restrooms and the suites are quite nice,
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't I? Like,
Sure.
I'm not going back to the locker room.
and there's snacks.
Yes. All right, done. I'm signing Russell Westbrook. Okay, so one big three to another. Mercury, big three. Haven't really gotten going yet, but they're hanging in. I like what the Mercury are doing. I like that they shoot a lot of threes. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. Vegas is kind of all over the place, but they beat them over the weekend. What do we make of that?
I mean, 8-4, second in the West. They're in a really good spot, especially considering how many games Copper and Thomas have missed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Full disclosure, for a number of years, I haven't been the huge Mercury fan. I haven't been engaged in watching them. I just haven't had as much interest. But now it's I like watching. I mean, they battle. I mean, they go at it, and it's very entertaining. I mean, the fact that they've been so successful early on this season without some of their best players has been great. It's encouraging. I mean, I fully expect they're going to, go on a good run and make the playoffs this year. They're a good team.
There's no shortage of personalities.
And I don't even think they knew what they had.
No.
Like, I just think like Nate Tibbetts kind of knows what he's doing. I think this is what gives me hope for the Suns, because I feel like they hired good basketball people with the Mercury. And so they know what they're looking for.
That's the hope. I mean, because
Yeah.
I think the hire for the Mercury with the coach, I think he's doing a great job. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
he's
Tibbetts
good.
is
He
good.
knows what he's doing.
And he kind of was stuck doing things the way Diana needed them done. And I mean, she's one of the greatest players of all time. So that's sort of how it goes.
Well,
But,
and last year too I think it was his first time really as a head coach at a professional level, and then for that first one to go from NBA into the W, it was just a learning year for him, and I think he figured out a lot. He learned a lot really quickly, and you saw moments of it. And I think this year, with basically getting to start over with a brand new team that he has a lot of say in who he brought in, I think you're really seeing the benefits of that payoff.
And Nick Uren, who is calling the shots. He's from here. But Joe, tell us a story about the Mercury general manager when he was with your Golden State Warriors. Is he going to end up back there as the general manager at some point? Because he knows how to pick players, at least these initial the beginning of the season here. You think, man, he knows how to put together a team.
I don't think he'll go back to Golden State, but the story with him was in the 2015 finals, which today's the anniversary of the Warriors winning it.
Happy anniversary.
He flipped
Yeah.
he flipped the series when he figured out, hey, let's start Iguodala in the last 3 games. What ended up being the last 3 games. He saw something at the end of game 3, which the Warriors were losing or lost, and he's like, let's do this. And he was a video guy for the Warriors, and Steve Kerr has always we've learned listen to anyone and everyone in his organization. And he's like, I kind of like that. Let's do it. And boom, it flipped. The Warriors won the next 3 and won their first of 4 championships. So
the small ball era was born.
Until the Suns are going to play with 2 bigs.
No, then we're going back. It's everything cyclical.
Mercury might play with 2 bigs.
I mean, I'm telling you, in the NFL, running backs are making a comeback.
The fullback.
In the next couple of years, where running game is going to be everything. It all goes in circles.
It's cyclical.
Kids are wearing mullets nowadays. Why wouldn't the running game and bigs?
Dude, why did I not save all my 90s clothes, man? I wouldn't have to go shopping. Do we think, based on the way the Mercury are playing, we should prepare for a playoff run here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I think anything less would be a disappointment.
Yeah.
Although, did you guys see Caitlin Clark's return?
Oh, my gosh.
They sure look good.
What was it? 9 points in 45 seconds or something ridiculous? Yeah. Yeah.
Logo threes.
I mean, she was shooting threes. I've never seen Steph Curry shoot back to back to back. I'm like, what is she doing?
All right. Big NFL Sunday in September, or Caitlin Clark's playing for championship. What are you watching? 2
Depends
screens?
who she's playing against.
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
Mercury.
I don't even know. Well,
Mercury
for sure.
I mean, the ticket prices for when Indiana comes here for a Mercury game,
you can
through
actually
the
watch
roof.
that game on Arizona's Family Sports.
And they're making 2 visits this year, aren't they?
Yeah. I have to take that night off.
It's a hot ticket.
Yep. All right. So at Connecticut on Wednesday, Liberty Thursday, Chicago on Saturday. Big week for the Mercury.
That Liberty game, I think, is going to be really show us where the Mercury team is. It's the second half of a back-to-back, and they're up against the Liberty on the road, near the end of a road trip. That's really going to show us like if this how real the 8-4 is and where they actually are right now.
How many times are we allowed to say Stewie in the highlights? I like saying it, but
I guess as many as are necessary.
I mean, how many? Yeah. When is it fun and when does it become annoying? Because she's going to score like
more than 3 is where where it starts to become noticeable.
All right, Joe, you agree? Stewie?
Yeah, more. Okay. I think more Stewie the better.
Okay. All right. If my eye cooperates and I'm back to work, 3. I get 3 Stewies.
3 Stewie.
All right, around the sports world, JJ Spaun, man, winning the U.S. Open with that putt, and then hearing that he was at CVS the night before because his daughter was sick on Father's Day, and I didn't think these stories happen in sports anymore. Right? Like everybody's got their swing coach, and they're sleeping in hyperbaric chambers, and they're Derek Jeter. They don't get married until after they're done playing ball, and this dude's got his kids, and one of them has got a stomach bug, and he wins the U.S. Open with a crazy putt.
That is how you win the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
That is how you do it. You don't do it by like missing the putt and then going to a playoff or backing into it or whatever. That's how you win the U.S. Open.
Especially a place like Oakmont, where it was he was 1 under, even, +1. Like those were the leading scores at the end of Sunday. Like it's such a tough golf course to make a putt like that to win it.
It's like 20 under at the Phoenix Open every year.
Yeah. And these guys, they're struggling to break par all weekend.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy was not thrilled with the conditions of the course.
maybe that's why a guy like JJ, who was playing at a municipal course in Scottsdale practicing, Nick King is over there this week talking to the pros over there and being like, yeah, he just used to come over here and practice with like the common people of Scottsdale. Yeah. Maybe that's why he's able to do it, because
you're not used to pristine conditions.
Yeah. You're like, it's even mentally tough. Like Rory gets upset because it throws his whole golf game off. And he's like, dude, I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning cleaning up, vomit from my 5-year-old. Like, big deal that I hit it in the rough. I'm going to figure out a way to get out of this. And I'm kind of tired. So
yeah, and it's the same conditions for everybody. Every golfer has to deal with the same wind and tough holes. And
to that state of mind that you were just saying, Mark, there can't be anything that makes a putt feel easier than that. Like, miss or make this, my daughter's at home, I'm going to go and make sure she's feeling better. Like, is there any better way to take the pressure off and be like, I get what worst case scenario. What he finishes second at the U.S. Open, like that's a pretty good turnout.
You can
for
still
a guy
buy a
who's-
house in like Upper Arcadia. You know,
And I think it was what John Rahm said last week on like Tuesday or Wednesday, talking about how tough the course was. He's like, it's going to come down to the mental game, and it really did.
And it was just so authentic. You heard him after the after the win and the news conference afterward, and just saying this was just an incredible moment. I've seen these moments on TV, and I never thought I would have one of them.
Yeah,
it was cool. It really was.
Is there a chance that he could have been in our grocery store? Like we could have been next to him. Joe,
It's
have you
not
ever seen this guy
impossible.
out in public? Like, do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like he could have just walked right by us and we would have no idea.
Yeah. Do you guys know what the winner got for winning the U.S. Open? It's funny. I asked Julia on the set last night.
Yeah.
I guess wrong. How much would you say, Matt?
I don't know, guess 1.5 million.
I thought it was 4 million.
Yeah, it
4
was.
million?
Yeah, it was 4 million.
Wow, I was way off.
That's a good day.
Just for the winner.
4.3. Yeah.
Just for the winner.
Well,
I like the shot at the end when he's with the trophy and his older daughter's like, "Daddy, it's time to go to bed." And, it's time to go home. It's bedtime, and
he's going to go from Scottsdale to Paradise Valley now.
But he's like, "We're staying up late tonight," and she just went, "Yay!"
Oh man, what a story. We're actually trying to track him down. We've got some feelers out. When he comes home, maybe we can get back and talk to him. So from the high to the low this weekend, Arizona baseball goes to the College World Series. That was a tough watch in the 8th inning. Were you guys watching the errors? They gave up the 7 unearned runs. Louisville seems like a team of destiny to me. Chip Hale got his team to the College World Series. I think that they're going to be happy with that, but man, you can't, when it's time to close and you're up and running the 8th inning, you can't melt down like that.
I think Joe was just fine with what happened, right?
Yeah,
Joe?
Sun Devil Joe.
Were you okay?
Hi.
Were you okay? Were you okay with what happened?
It's my favorite saying in College World Series 2 and a barbecue. When you play 2 games, lose, you got the barbecue in between, and then bye-bye. Back to Tucson.
It was sad. But, they did get beaten a regional at home in Tucson last year, so at least they went to the College World Series.
Yeah, they got to be much happier with that.
No, it was a good season. I mean, you get to the College World Series. It's a good season.
The only time people are excited to go to Omaha.
Dude, I might go next year for a baseball tournament. We just went to Cooperstown. Omaha's the next one.
Yeah, no, I've had some friends who've gone to Omaha. They've had a blast for those kids' baseball tournaments.
I'm curious about that. Yeah. My brother and his wife split up. One was in Cooperstown, one was in Omaha. They haven't seen each other in a month. They have 4 kids playing baseball. And the oldest was like in a tournament in like Alabama or something. They don't even know. He's 16. He had a hotel by himself. What could go wrong?
Steaks are better in Omaha.
Yeah, the steaks are quite good. Big fan of the steaks.
All right. We got to get that as a sponsor of the show. All right. So other fun thing kind of around the sports world, golden tickets being handed out to the class of 2027. Sun Devil Joe, fill us in. What is going on with Kenny Dillingham, the marketing genius?
So it's been very well known that just high-end Arizona recruits just are not picking Arizona or Arizona State to go to school. They go elsewhere, and you can understand it by some point because I was the same. I was 18 and I left home, and you spread your wings somewhere else, and you don't want to train in 110-degree weather. So there's that aspect. But the staff at ASU is all locals or majority locals, and they're going about a different way recruiting the sophomore class with these golden tickets. I got a soundbite from Kenny that I can play for you guys and let him explain it if you want.
Let's do it.
Myself, a lot of our staff I'm born and raised here. A lot of our staff is from here. We're trying to figure out this code to recruit the state. We're trying to figure it out, right? We're doing everything we can, right? What we're doing right now isn't necessarily working at the highest level yet. So we're going to change our strategy, and people may not like it. They may like it. It doesn't matter because what we're doing isn't working to attract the highest level player. I think we're trending in that direction, but we're going to be a little bit different in how we recruit the state to try to keep the best players in the state home. And that's part of the strategy to do that. Is it's going to be special to come here again. It's going to be special. It's going to be, wow, I'm one of the few people who get the opportunity to stay in state.
Yeah, and you know what? First of all, Kenny's starting to look like Frank Kush. Second of all, I like that he tries new things to see if it works. Like, this is a little gimmicky, but everything he's said since he got here has kind of worked. Like, who had him going to the college football playoff? Who had him beating UCLA without a quarterback? like maybe this doesn't work, but it's a good try. And it's kind of cool because if you're one of those, 6 kids, so Jai Jones from Chandler, Ben Lothar from Centennial, an offensive tackle, Noah Roberts from Basha, the running back, Cale Snyder, the quarterback at Perry, and Zarek Sidney, the Desert Edge wide receiver, got to be like, I'm in a pretty special class here. I got a golden ticket.
Yeah, I can pay attention.
No, absolutely. Although Joe should be a little bit of concern because we're going to be heading into the fall with expectations for ASU.
Very concerned. Very.
A lot of really big expectations, and I don't know. It'll be pretty hard to top last season.
Yeah. He got there one year, like the true test will be see how consistent it is. And I'm sure Kenny Dillingham would be the first person to admit that. He's like, doing it once can easily be a fat flash in the pan. He's like, I got to keep doing it over and over. But as far as recruiting players, like he said there in that same, he made such a point about like they've been recruiting in the state the same way for the past 20 years and it hasn't been working. And we just got to try something different. And if it is a little gimmicky, I mean, you can't fault it if it works. I mean,
sure, bro.
What isn't gimmicky nowadays? You almost need a gimmick in order to stand out in some way, and
that's how I live my life.
If they win, and obviously what they did last year, you get the attention, and they see how much fun they're having, and obviously a lot of it comes down to money now, but you want people to want to come and play here.
Yeah.
And he's creating that vibe.
Yeah. And he said in that same, not that particular bite, but in that same press conference, talking about like, it's not even the sophomores, the juniors, the seniors right now. It's the 8th graders. It's the 6th and 7th graders. Those are the ones that you have to get excited about wanting to stay here. Like you need them growing up wanting to be here and be part of that. And that's really where he's focusing efforts at this point.
Is it something if you didn't get a golden ticket that you're like, I really want one? Are you like, I'm going to Tucson? Like,
who knows? Guys. That's probably kid by kid basis. Some might feel that way. Some might feel the opposite.
Or maybe you can get a golden ticket and go to the Willy Wonka and go to the factory and see how it works.
Right. And these are sophomores too. So they're going to have so many offers and they're changing their mind left and right.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, if you get a golden ticket, I don't think any of us are going to remember, except for the really, really, really people that are in the weeds on recruiting.
Well, and even in college football now, say they do recruit and they do come here and they play a year. There's no guarantee they're going to be here the next year or 2 years later. I mean, they may transfer out and go somewhere else. That's going to be fascinating
when you have the salary cap and all of these rules that come in. Do guys stay? Like, is it a recruiting tool as much? Yeah. I can't. That's going to be fascinating.
Well, and I also think there's something to, say one of these kids go elsewhere, like when they inevitably transfer, be like, hey, remember we gave you the golden ticket and we like you.
Or if they go somewhere off for a couple of years, they don't choose ASU right away, but they want to transfer
recruiting
back.
them like the second time.
Are you going to have the golden ticket for transfers now?
The golden
You get to come back.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of regulation on that.
Oh, and then the Wildcats will have to one up it with some sort of ticket themselves. I'm sure they're already thinking
platinum ticket.
I did read that
cattails.
The players they felt special. They're like, wow, I got one. I know there's only 6 of these. This worked. That the initial thing is it has worked.
Yeah,
but will they commit whenever?
Kenny Dillingham seems like that kind of guy where you get that like positive attention from him when if he focuses in on you and like lifts you up in some way, that it's probably got to make you feel pretty good.
That was exactly what they said too. Like Coach Dillingham called me at midnight. Like I got the call from him. That was amazing.
Right. You'll run through a wall for him. Did we talk about the Devers trade enough? That's next on the list. Joe, do you want to talk about it again?
Oh, I just said good job. I think it flips the Giants. I kept saying they just need a little bit of hitting, and they got a lot of bit of hitting. If he can hit in our terrible hitting ballpark, then watch out.
I mean, one of the big keys for the Giants this year is you've been getting fantastic starting pitching, and if that continues, you'll keep winning.
And bullpen's
been good. Yeah, no, they've been good.
All right, Panthers on the brink of winning a Stanley Cup. Is this a local story with the Kachucks?
For how interesting and unexpected the NHL has been throughout the year, for it to be the exact same 2 teams in the Western Conference and the exact same 2 teams in the finals, it's a weird amount of parity without any kind of parity at all. It's thrilling and exciting to watch. These games have been phenomenal, but it's almost a repeat of last year. It's such a weird.
I kind of just want to watch USA and Canada fight again. Like that was the hockey moment of the year for me.
That's what people like.
There are like 5 loaded teams in hockey, and they're just going to keep winning and winning because they just keep reloading and reloading. And Florida is just an animal out there. They beat you up, they score on you, they laugh in your face, and then they win a Stanley Cup.
And yet there aren't 3 think pieces a week about, is the NHL in trouble? Because it's just the same teams winning. They just keep.
Dynasties are good.
Just keeps,
it could be us though, man. I mean, like we're doing a story this week is youth hockey. There's not as much involvement. There's not as much kids playing it. And then they're saying it's because the Coyotes left. So we believe Shane Doan's going to return to the ice this week and play in the game to drum up support. And it just makes me sad because it would be, how much fun would it be right now if we had a team in the Stanley Cup Finals and it's 113 outside?
It would be nice.
Doesn't feel like hockey.
No. All right. Pet updates. Joe, we'll start with you. How's Harley Cat?
He's good. What was his update? I got him a new toy that I didn't realize had catnip in it until he started playing with it. And I was like, this looks like it has catnip in it. And I checked the tag after I'd cut it off. And sure enough, it had catnip, but he loves it. It's a little bird with a funny tail. But good cat. We had a cricket in the house, and he is such a terrible hunter. He just stares at it and like meows and like paws at it. I'm like, you have these claws, like kill it. But I don't think he got it.
You're like that Swingers talking to Vince Vaughn.
You got a bear with these big paws.
Jason, do you have any pets?
I do. We have a little COVID rescue dog named Max, who we got about 5 years ago. He's just a little dog. He's kind of like a little part, like a multi-poo, just a little small, little crusty white dog. But he's very sweet. He's very needy. He does not remember me every night. My wife goes to sleep before I do, and the dog sleeps on the bed. And every time I come up there, he attacks me like I'm a burglar. And he'll just, and the funny, it's funny, but my wife doesn't think it's funny, is that he will just and just like lunge at me, like Cujo, and just my wife is in a dead sleep, and she just and just
every night.
Every single night, he scares my wife straight out of a dead deep sleep when I come to bed because he doesn't remember me. I'm like, I come to this bed every night. I mean, you've been in this house for 5 years, and I'm like, he still doesn't remember me. I don't know, the movie 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler.
Yes.
There was a guy, 10 Second Tom.
Yes.
Who, that's my dog. I'm like, look at me. Don't you remember me? But like, my wife is just terrified every single night. And I try and slowly tiptoe and get into bed without him noticing. And sometimes I'm successful, but most of the time I'm not. And so my dog doesn't remember me.
Come on, Max. No, who feeds you. Do you have any pets?
Yeah, we have 2 cats. We have to keep them separated.
What are their names?
They're PB and Cider are our 2 cats. My wife, Cider, was her cat. PB was mine, and we moved in. And
they're like rock'em sock'em robots.
Do they get along? Do they like each other?
Yes and no. My guy, he gets a little territorial. He kind of took over her litter box, which led to some bad situations in the house. So no, they each have their own side of the house, but they're both sweet and great in their own way. No real like.
Yours PB or Cider?
Mine was PB, orange guy.
For peanut butter jelly. What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's so when he was a little kitten, he was fostered by some friends of ours. Him and his litter were, and he was just this shaggy orange guy, and he used to get his some of his business stuck up in his back. So our friend's wife, she started calling him Poopy Bud. And there were a few times where we would go and help and just help out with the cats if they were out of town for the weekend or something. And I just started calling him PB, and he was just the sweetest, cutest little kitten. One of the few cats that you could just pick up and carry and walk around. And I was like, I can't let him go somewhere else. So when they took him back to the Humane Society, I adopted him and just kept calling him PB.
I would just suggest maybe let people think it's peanut butter. just gotta go with that. It's peanut butter. He loves peanut butter.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, that's usually the reaction.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
good. Yeah, we were gonna name another cat Jelly. It was, it's kind of funny.
It's like he doesn't have the same issue anymore.
We asked a tough question.
He's gotten better.
Okay, I want to meet him. Can you bring him to work? No one knows.
He would not do well.
It's all right. We have those. You can just stick them in the little drawer down. Yeah, just carry them around.
Mark, what did you do with your dog on vacation?
Oh, the Poochie, Mr. Roscoe. We sent him to Grandma came over because the oldest was in a basketball tournament. So we went to Cooperstown and then we went to Boston. And she brought her 2 dogs over. And Roscoe was absolutely. He's. I haven't seen him. I think we get him back tomorrow, and I think he's going to be like a wild animal because he just gets to be a dog and just bark at everything. So he loves going up to the mountains with Grandma in the cabin. And then when you get him back, he won't even look you in the eye. He's just like, I'm a killer. So, I mean, he's only like 35 pounds. So I don't think he could do that well. But I'm very excited to see Mr. Poochie. That's what I call him. So, yeah. So we all have names for our dogs. Does Maxie have a name?
Yeah, Max.
Oh, okay. Best concert that you've attended recently.
I can start. I went to the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the Grateful Dead and Dead and Company. But it was words can't describe how amazing it is there with the visual to go with, and especially that band. And it actually did bring me to tears just because it was just a little overwhelming, and I was just so happy to see this San Francisco band bring people from all over the world together, and it was a cool moment.
Was it like sensory overload? Like
a little
talking
bit
before this, like the VR thing. Like, am I gonna be like, where do I look? Oh, they're actually playing music.
This feels incredible.
It's incredible, though. Everyone needs to go. Pick a band you like and go. And I think every band that comes is going to try to one up each other with the visuals, and it's highly recommended.
My wife has sort of laid down some rules when it comes to concerts for us right now. She told me no more old guy concerts.
So gangster rap only for the berries.
I mean, what is old guy?
I mean, no more James Taylor, Elton John, Billy Joel, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Kansas, Boston.
It's just
America.
They don't sound quite as good as they used to.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. And I'm trying to remember. Right, we did not long ago. We were in Vegas and we saw Gwen Stefani. And she was great. She actually put on a great show. That is
not an old guy concert.
That's not an old guy concert. So that's why we went. Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to one in a long time, but one concert I have to tell people about it, that it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, was Weird Al. I saw him play at Summerfest in Milwaukee. It was 2007. And it's still, I remember that show so well. It was just so unexpectedly fantastic. The musicianship is phenomenal. The entertainment value throughout the entire show is so good. And so if there's ever a chance to see Weird Al, it's not just like goofy songs. It's genuinely great music. And it's just one of the best shows I've ever seen.
We should get Weird Al on the podcast. I would love to. Did he play George of the Jungle?
He would,
yeah. Did he play Eat It?
He did Eat It. He did.
Can he do Fat anymore? Or is that like you can't do that? Maybe in 2007 you could.
I think he still did it.
I'm sure he still can. Yeah, he's incredibly talented. He used to do a radio show in Los Angeles before he became really big. But yeah, he's just multi-talented.
So good. And the musicians in his band, because they have to play everything and they have to play it live and they have to play it, recognizably well. It's just so good.
One quick point. I was talking about old guy concerts and me being an old guy. I'm a little put off by how expensive concerts are right now. It is outrageous. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was last year Bruce Springsteen was going to come to town, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to go see him. Whatever. And it's like upper level tickets were $350, lower level were $750, and I'm like, spending $1,500 to go to a concert with my wife. No,
it's just a tough spot musicians are in now. They're not making money off album sales. They got to do it somewhere, and then you get the ticket brokers who capitalize on that and make it even worse. Well, it's tough.
I got 2 for 1 on Friday. We went to Fenway because we were up that way, and we saw this guy Louis Bello playing in the street outside of Fenway. I think this is his song. Let's see if it'll play. But okay, well he's talking. But he did like a lot of like hip hop stuff, and I was like, I would pay to listen to this guy. and we paid $300 a ticket for Fenway.
Yeah.
But we were like, we're at Fenway. We saw a walk-off. We saw an Aaron Judge home run.
No, that's
Yeah.
different.
So Louis Bello.
I'm paying some money for baseball. I'm
Yeah.
paying money for sports. I guess I haven't gotten over the mental hurdle for some concerts, but it's an experience. I'm sure you got to see them sing "Sweet Caroline" and
Sweet Caroline, and then "Love That Dirty Water," Boston, you're my home, and the lights were going in and out as they hit a walk-off. So it was cool. So I think we accomplished a lot today. Jason Berry, we kept you an extra hour on your work days. So
yeah, you did. I've got an early flight tomorrow morning going to Cancun. I've got less time to pack.
He's already in his bathing suit, folks.
It's a good way to start vacation, though.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Hey, thank you for inviting me. It's good. I'll come back if you'll have me again.
Absolutely. Red Hot Sports Takes, Jason Berry, the Berry Power Hour on Group Chat.
Wild Berry.
Yeah, if you need me to come in here and complain about one of the local teams in dbacks, because I'm a big fan, so I ride the highs and the lows.
Yeah. Come back at the trade deadline. See what they do.
Decompress. Yes. Jason Berry's headed to Cancun, and the Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.